You're listening to the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms. Also, be sure to check out Play Callers. New episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, available to stream across all platforms. Hello and welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast. It has been a while, but boys, we are back for the first time in a minute. Episode 19, we got a loaded show for you today. We're going to be discussing recent tournaments such as the Masters, which we're going to be discussing how a guy won his second in 3 years in dominant fashion. We're also going to be discussing old tournaments such as March Madness, which we didn't cover because the last episode we did for this podcast, Champ Week, was still going on for men's basketball. So we'll be talking about that for men's and women's. Also, the upcoming NBA playoffs will be a hot topic in today's show. All of that and more on today's Tigers Den podcast. But go ahead and get us started like you always do. Reese Kinder with the weekend rundown. Reese, go ahead and get started.
This is the weekend rundown.
What?
Well, weekend rundown. Like I said to you, Max, before we started the show, basketball's over, football's over, but it's not over? Baseball. Baseball is back, and we actually, I don't even think we did an episode before opening day. I think we were still in spring training by then, but this weekend, I think it's you could say the second week of MLB season already. So, Marcell Ozuna for the Braves, big guy, hits big dingers. Marcell Ozuna propels the Braves past the Marlins to win the series. Braves win 9-7 after Marcell Ozuna absolutely clobbers a ball into the sea. Never seen again. He abuses people, but he also abuses baseballs. So,
what?
It's true. But Marcell Ozuna, amazing guy. He's now tied for most home runs in MLB right now. And speaking of home runs in MLB, Tyler O'Neill actually took the lead today, but then Ozuna got it back. But O'Neill took the lead today with his seventh. Like you said, Max, earlier in play callers to Coach Simo, you said that the Red Sox, Tyler O'Neill has been a key player for the Red Sox this season so far.
Only decent player.
Yes, sir.
What about
we have Tristan Casas and
Rafael Devers?
Yeah, well, Rafi's doing terrible right now. But once he gets it going,
Like
who
Acuna.
knows? We could have a chance.
Yeah, for real. And then, big milestone today for Mr. Andrew McCutchen. He has hit his 300th career home run for the Pirates. And, amazing career so far for McCutchen. He was going to retire last year, but then he said, you know what? I'm going to come back because the Pirates are going to make the playoffs. I believe they will. And I just want to get into a quick topic real quick of injuries in baseball. We've seen too many pitchers already go down with Tommy John surgery, including pitchers as big names as Spencer Strider, Shane Bieber, and even Tommy Pham, also right fielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks, actually had Tommy John surgery as well. So a lot of injuries, and I think it has something to do with the pitch clock. I think the pitch clock needs to be reevaluated come this offseason. Think it needs to be, because I was at an Auburn baseball game on Saturday, and the college pitch clock is actually 20 seconds, and with a runner on base, it's 22. But MLB, it's 18 seconds with a runner on base, and it's 15 with nobody on base. So think what it needs to go up to is about 20 seconds, and then same thing as college. They need to keep it like college because, these pitchers are just going nonstop, throwing, like Spencer Strider throws 100 miles an hour, and you can't do that consistently without possibly tearing something in your elbow. And, Spencer Strider, tough break for a guy that probably would have won Cy Young. And Shane Bieber, too. Shane Bieber, this was his last year in the MLB. He's going to retire after the season, after he announced it before the season started. So, tough break for some of these guys. Hopefully they'll be back on the mound next season Well, actually, Strider will be back on the mound next season. So hopefully that works out. And then also in NBA news, the Oklahoma City Thunder went from worst to first in like I think it was 3 years. The Thunder are back. They are now the 1 seed in the playoffs. And then New York Knicks. I didn't even know this until Max mentioned it. The Knicks are the 2 seed. I didn't even know that. So
Yeah,
I mean,
they got a big overtime win today against the Bulls, and then the Bucks got hammered by the Magic. I mean, this NBA playoffs, I'm actually really excited for. We got a lot of new teams in there. The Orlando Magic haven't made it in a while. They'll be in there as a 5 seed going up against the Cleveland Cavs, which I mean we'll be discussing a little bit later who we think are the most dangerous teams coming into the playoffs. But I think those two teams definitely have a shot in an East that really, besides the Celtics, I mean it's wide open. The Knicks,
yeah.
yes, they're a great story. They're having a great year, and they're definitely a team to watch. But come on now. I mean, the Knicks at the 2 seed have the same record as the 5 seed in the West, the Dallas Mavericks. The West has been clearly more dominant, which actually makes it more impressive that the Thunder were able to do what they did this year. I mean, they still have all that draft capital. They're still a very young team with a very young core, and they're number one. So we'll see what shakes out. I mean, we're going to be discussing it throughout this episode. That's going to be our main topic. But I'm very excited for this NBA playoffs.
Yeah, because they'll get the Thunder and Celtics will both get the. Well, I wouldn't say the worst team because I don't think anybody's bad in this playoffs. This playoffs is gonna be
Absolutely
a good
not.
one, but
Absolutely not.
I mean,
There's a couple teams like if I had to say one team, I'd say like the Hawks and the Bulls. Like I mean, the two teams with losing records, in either conference. I mean, but the West is wide open. You got the Warriors at 10th. I mean, Steph Curry, obviously, yes, he's aging, but he's still Steph Curry. And when it comes to playoff time, players like that tend to turn up the heat. They go against the Kings, who are both 10 games above 500 as the 10 and 9 seeds in the West. I mean, I'm very excited for the West, obviously. I mean, my Pelicans are in there. Sadly, we weren't able to make the cut at 6, but we're going to be in 7 going against the Lakers, who destroyed us today. Hopefully, we can get revenge on Tuesday. But I'm obviously more excited for the West, but the East is still action-packed. Like I said, the Pacers versus the Bucks. I was looking at social media right before we hopped on this call. That seems like one that most people are excited for, especially when you had the Greek Freak ball situation earlier when he, set the record and then they took the ball to the locker room and he chased him down or whatever. That was against the Pacers. So, I mean, there's a lot of storylines, and this NBA playoffs is surely going to be one to watch.
yeah, I mean, like you said though, like the Warriors and Kings did play last year in the playoffs, and we saw
Yeah,
what.
I mean, yeah, Sabonis and Green. I mean, that's going to be something to watch as well. The kick to the face, stuff like that. Just
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
then
storylines. A lot of storylines.
I also want to mention, you know, Auburn softball finally has won a series this year.
Yes,
We
let's go.
finally have won a series this year. It took forever, but I mean, finally win one is
I can actually
amazing.
be happy to say I'm an Auburn softball fan finally this year. Now
Yeah, if you're an
listen,
Auburn baseball fan,
uh,
don't ever
well,
go to a
yeah,
game. Just
yeah,
never
no,
show up.
that's in the. I mean, we're gonna get probably run ruled by Georgia Tech tomorrow or 2 days from now.
Yeah,
Tomorrow when
that's
y'all are listening to this, but for Auburn softball, I mean, against number 6 LSU on the road. I mean, I watched each of these games all the way through. I felt good about the series coming in because LSU. If you haven't been following softball as much, they were undefeated coming into SEC play, and now they've won. They've lost 6 or 7 games. They're like 9-6 or 9-7. I don't know after today. I'm pretty sure it's 9-6 in SEC play. So I mean, they're a team that's kind of been slipping. They're still number 6 in the country and deservedly so. I mean, they're 32-6. They've only lost 6 games, played 38. But I felt good about the series coming in, and I'll tell you what, man, Shelby Lowe stepping up today because I mean, obviously we played Maddie Penta, which
yeah.
was kind of interesting. So we usually always start with Penta as our ace because she is our ace by far on Friday, but we started Lowe instead on Friday, and she really stepped up in that game. Penta finished it out towards the sixth inning because Lowe started to lose it. But Auburn won on Friday. Saturday we started Penta, and we lost that game. And then
It was close though, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was close. Each game was close. By the way, excellent series. Softball's really turning up this time of year, and I'm very happy to say I'm a softball fan because it seems like it's getting more attention, as time progresses. But that's a whole nother conversation. But and then we come Sunday, tied 1-1. We have to start low because Penta's pitched nearly 180 pitches in the last 2 days, and so Lowe comes in and she pitched an absolute just gem of a game. I mean, I think it was until like the sixth inning she'd only allowed one hit, and that one hit did drive in a run off of a walk and steal. But I'm very happy at where this Auburn softball team's at. Obviously Mickey Dean in the retiring situation. If you haven't heard, he's retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But with that whole situation, it can be tough for a team to recover. But Auburn softball's done a great job, and I mean, we got Kentucky at home next weekend. If we can get, Kentucky's the last team in the league in the SEC by a lot, and then we're at second to last. But there's like 3-game gap. Kentucky's terrible this year. I don't know what happened. They had a big senior class last year.
They did beat Georgia though. They did beat Georgia today.
Did they win the series or did they just
They
beat them?
They just won the one game today.
Okay. So my thing is, obviously we want to win the series, but if we can get a sweep next week, crossing my fingers, hoping and praying. But at home, JB Morefield, if we get a sweep next weekend, that'd be huge. But Auburn softball and college softball really heating up this year.
Yeah, and then just one last thing I want to speak on before we move on to the next segment. If you haven't been following women's basketball, tomorrow night, WNBA draft, and we get a chance to see one of our very own Honesty Scott Grayson will have a chance to get drafted tomorrow night in the third round of the WNBA draft. I've been looking at the prospects list. She is actually one of the top prospects in the WNBA draft, and she is projected to go early third round, possibly late second round. So if you have a chance to watch tomorrow night, tune in to watch one of your very own Auburn University players get drafted. And then also, other good news for the women's basketball team. Girl from Arkansas transferred today to the women's team. One of the best three-point shooters in the SEC. So, Auburn women's basketball is on the rise again. Hopefully next year, 25-win season is what we're looking for. So, we will see.
Absolutely on the rise. And quickly, I totally forgot that WNBA draft is it tomorrow or Tuesday?
It's tomorrow. It's okay. All of it's tomorrow. It's first
what
round
time?
starts. I think it's at like 6 tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, so just quick breakdown. We can all three chip in because I think this is a pretty big conversation. So yeah, I think biggest women WNBA draft in history. I think, unarguable because you got Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink, Camila Cardoso, and
Angel Reese.
Those are the big stars, but you also got some other players like Rakia Jackson. I don't think gets enough said about her, but the 6'2" small forward, she's the number 3 prospect on the board, only behind Brink and Caitlin Clark. Obviously, I think Clark will go first. I think, it's a no-brainer. She's going to be paired with Aaliyah Boston at Indiana, and that'll be a good fit. But, after that, there is just Aaliyah Edwards. I remember watching her and Nika Mule, both for UConn in that Final Four. They're both really good. And then, like you said, Honesty Scott Grayson. I remember watching her put up like dang near 40 against LSU, and she's all the way in the third round. So very exciting times in women's basketball for sure.
Yeah, even Caitlin Clark is getting the Indiana Fever's ticket prices all the way up to
exactly. More shoot. So, I don't know. I don't want to I'm not 100% sure, but has the WNBA, have they ever sold out a game?
Let me look it up real quick. I don't think they have, but
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If they haven't, be prepared because I think they could get some sellouts next year for some Indiana Fever.
Oh yeah, they're not far from where Clark played anyway from Iowa.
Yeah. So I think okay, so the first the first one in history and the only one in history is actually
It was
that
the
sold out.
championship, wasn't it, this year?
Okay, so then there's two. There's the championship, and then also Brittany Griner's first game back. That also.
Yeah, no, because it says a WNBA team has sold out of season tick. Well, that's season tickets. Let me see if sellouts, because it says season tickets here, but it also says in a championship game it says they have sold out the arena.
Well, either way, exciting times in the women's game. I'm excited to watch that tomorrow at 6. Be sure y'all tune in. Should be a good night. But
Yeah, that's
Reese, is
for
that it for
weekend.
the weekend rundown?
Yes, that is it.
All right. Well, appreciate you running down the weekend for us. And now, Taylor, I want you to hit us with your best team that you have seen since we last convened. Talking about the team huddle. Taylor, go ahead and take it away.
Huddle up, because it's time for Taylor's Team Huddle. All right, so for Team Huddle this week, I'm going to do something that I don't really do, kind of a casual in this topic. I'm going to talk about the National Basketball Association, who has a team that started off on complete fire. They had the reigning MVP of the league at big man, and this team looked like an early favorite. And even going back on some of our episodes, we all had them like top 3. Some of us had them 1. This team, very, very good at the beginning. Then a catastrophic event happened to that MVP, and the others had to step up. But now this team is a 7 seed and have a play-in game coming up Wednesday. This team, of course, is the Philly star-studded NBA team, the Philadelphia 76ers.
I like this pick.
Now, like I said, this team started 29-14. Everything was looking amazing. Joel Embiid, top 3 in MVP voting under Shea and Nikola Jokic. Him, that was kind of a big argument for a while. And then they also had an improving Tyrese Maxey that, it looked like they were going to go deep into the playoffs. But against the Warriors on January 30th, Joel Embiid tore his meniscus, making the playoff hopes slim for the Sixers and ruining his MVP chances completely. But Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, and Kelly Oubre, the big 3, really struggled to lead this team to any wins, and at one point lost 9 games in a row and 2 to really bad teams such as the Nets and the Trailblazers. But Embiid came back on April 2nd. This team went on a tear and now have won 8 games in a row, no losses in the month of April. Now they get set for that huge play-in matchup against the reigning Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat, and get to prove why they were such an early favorite. This team is on fire right now. They look like the beginning Philadelphia 76ers we saw at the beginning of the season, getting them to that 29-14 record, beating the Celtics, beating the Bucks, beating the top dogs in the East, and I think also beating the Knicks. So this team, if they can win that play-in game, I think they could easily knock off the Knicks if they get that 7 seed, which they are right now. If they win, they get the 7 seed against the Knicks. But also if they get the 8 seed against the Celtics, it'll be a good series. This team's hot. What are y'all's thoughts on this? And do they need to truly huddle up?
First off, great pick. Absolutely amazing pick. Like Taylor said at the beginning, me to MLB is kind of like Taylor to NBA, but me, I love NBA. This is like the time of year that like I get most excited for, especially, when my team's doing good. But absolute great shout out. This 76ers team has really just flown under the radar recently because of the Embiid injury. But you look back to, January 22nd, the Philadelphia 76ers were 29-13, and they were only second behind the Celtics, who, by the way, are like 10 games ahead of every single team in the NBA right now. But I remember back in those days, back in January, December, we'd always be talking about the upcoming Celtics 76ers matchup because it was always the best 2 teams in the East. But now they're all the way down to 7th. But don't let that fool you. Don't let that 7 seed fool you because they got Embiid back, who, by the way, earlier this season put up 70 and was actually leading the league in points per game by like so much. He was at one point, I remember he was averaging like 38 a game. It was crazy, and people were thinking he was going to run away with the MVP. But but unfortunately, the injury happened, and now he's got to step back up in the playoffs. But like you said, I mean, they've won, 10 in a row now since he's back? I mean, this 76ers team will obviously preview their matchup against the Heat in Prize Picks later today. But no, I think that's a great call out. I mean, you got Maxey, you got Embiid. They added Kyle Lowry throughout towards the middle of that, stretch where they didn't have Joel Embiid. Sorry. Sorry, my voice is going out real quick. But Tobias Harris, also a great piece. Oubre has been playing really, really strong. Yeah, I think that's a great call out. I mean, obviously they get the Heat first, which Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is like LeBron in his prime. Jimmy Butler just turns it on. But I think they have a great chance to take a run at it. And also, with their matchup being against the Knicks, I mean, we'll see how that turns out. I low-key do have the 76ers in that matchup. I kind of agree with you right there on that point. But, Reese, what do you think?
Honestly, yeah, I agree with the take too. But also, I want to know, like, do you think they could get past the Celtics, though? I don't know if they could get past the Celtics. But
It
I
doesn't
mean,
matter because they're going to beat the Heat, bro.
yeah, no, I'm saying if they beat the Heat and win all these games and get to that Eastern Conference Finals game, I don't know if they can get past the Celtics because they
Yeah.
have a good enough lineup to compete with the Celtics. But I mean, we've seen it like too many times. We see some of these teams that go on big runs and then all of a sudden their run gets ended by the best team. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
sure
not
because
sold on it yet because I mean Jason Tatum we've seen in the playoffs
I mean,
has
but obviously the Celtics are. Can we all agree
yeah no
that
they're the best team
they're the
like
best
they're
team in basketball right
yeah I
now?
mean like
You know,
that's
hundred
obvious but
percent.
I'm saying like I do agree with the take but I'm saying like the 76ers I do think could make a run but I just think that they might not be able to get past the Celtics if they want to get to the finals.
Hey man, but I do think Sixers, Boston Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh,
I
that'd be
do think
great.
that would,
Like,
yeah, that would be very entertaining to watch. And I mean, you look at here because here's the thing: once you get to the playoffs, for those not as familiar with the NBA during the regular season, I mean, for the first I'd say 70 games, it's like unwatchable because teams aren't trying as hard. Starters are going out of the game earlier and earlier, but throughout that last 10 game stretch and then the playoffs, obviously, I mean, teams really start turning it up. And who has played the best basketball in these last 10 games? I think it's the
76ers.
Sixers. I
Yeah.
think it's the 76ers. And also a big thing is star players. Joel Embiid is a star player. I mean, at one point, like we already talked about, he was averaging 38 a game. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what the Mavs are doing with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. They're heating up right now. The Clippers, their project is finally seeming to work. And then Nikola Jokic as well. I mean, last year in the finals, he was basically carrying them. Obviously, Jamal Murray and MPJ were helping, but the best players turned it up at the most needing times, and this is the most needing time. So if there's anybody that could make a run as a lower seed, like a 5 and under seed, I do think it is the 76ers, 100%.
Well, we're going to blow the whistle on that huddle and move into our next segment. Mac, take them away.
Who is this week's MMVP?
So we have MMVP. It's been a while. And this is a pretty obvious one. It is the 2024 Masters winner, Scottie Scheffler. But let me break it down for y'all real quick for those that did not watch the best tournament in all of golf this weekend. Watching this year's Masters, I can't lie, Scottie Scheffler's insane run all the way to the green jacket these past 4 days, it seemed almost identical to who? UConn's March Madness run this year. And in the fact that it seemed inevitable. Let me break it down. The Texan has been ranked number 1 in the world for more than 80 weeks during his short career. He's won 8 times on the PGA Tour since February 2022, a stretch that also saw him become the first golfer ever to win the Players Championship in back-to-back years. Scheffler, to me and to a lot of golf like professionals and golf historians, he's regarded as perhaps golf's best ball striker since Tiger Woods in his prime. And Scheffler's magical hands across the greens also have drawn comparisons to the guy I just mentioned, you know who. But until Sunday, Scheffler had only won one major championship victory, the 2022 Masters, which might have been the only reason anyone had some sort of doubt on his status as the game's next generational star. But after this past weekend, there's no doubt. Absolutely no doubt. Because entering Sunday's final round at the 88th Masters at Augusta National Golf Club in a three-way tie for the lead, Scheffler ran away from the other contenders on the second nine to win a second green jacket in 3 years. He won by 4 strokes, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he finished 11 under par. I'd like to shout out Ludwig Auberg, the guy who finished in second.
Amazing. That was amazing. Like
amazing performance by Auberg in his first ever Masters, by the way, as well. But what do y'all think of Scheffler's magical run, and is it crazy to say that he could be the next Tiger Woods?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if it's crazy to say that because, I mean, I got to say, like, I've never seen a golfer so locked in on trying to get that green jacket. Like, he was locked in today. Like, he bogeyed one hole, and then after he bogeyed, he only bogeyed one more hole in the back nine, and he just was locked in the whole time. He just you saw the highlights. I mean, some of these shots he was taking were insane. Like, I mean, he had one that almost went in, and it was like he basically hit the first shot, and then on his second shot, he almost got it in the hole. Like, I mean, that was.
Are you talking about the one that went to the top of the hill and then like rolled back down?
Yeah,
and finished on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like that's insane. Like, and then also like he just knew where exactly where to put it on the green. You know, that course is a very tough course to play. It's like a lot of bad
very
stuff
fast
happen.
very fast greens too.
Yeah.
Putting greens.
And I mean, we saw it the first 2 days. Like, we saw some of these amateurs hitting the ball in the water, and like today, Scheffler was just so locked in. Like, I mean, he knew the exact spots to hit it on the green, and I mean, I got to give credit to Oberg, but I mean, what a good run for him. But I mean, Scheffler just had a great, like, I mean, I've never seen somebody so locked in for a Masters
Just
tournament.
really quickly talking about Auburn, 7 under par a lot of times will actually win the Masters in some years.
Yeah, I mean, if it's really windy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times will win it, but Scheffler finishing 11 under par. I mean, I'll give you the perfect example of where I felt like, because I'm not going to lie, I do enjoy golf, watching it as well, but I mean, besides last year's and this year's Masters, I've kind of been a casual when it came to following the Masters. But this year I was locked in. I remember me and my manager were actually watching round one. He's a big golf guy. I actually went to the Masters one time with his dad, like 20 years ago. But we were talking about it, and that was when DeChambeau was actually in the lead by a good bit. And then Scheffler was kind of creeping up. And then they finished the day. I think Scheffler was in second, and then DeChambeau was in first at 7 under par. But I just had the feeling like, Scheffler, he was just through that entire time, his chipping away, at the lead for DeChambeau. I really felt like, he was just staying consistent and, wasn't really getting fazed by any of the win factors or any of that. Whereas DeChambeau, I mean, I was just looking at social media as well to see the reactions from round one. They're all saying the difference between Scheffler and DeChambeau is Scheffler we can trust will go 66 or under the next day. But DeChambeau we just don't know. And he actually didn't go 66 the next day. He went 72 and then 71 in round three. But I mean, to go 68 on day four, the best out of anybody in the entire thing. He could have gone 71 and still won in round four, but he just stayed locked in, like you said, and just won the whole thing. Taylor, what is your reaction to the 2024 Masters?
Yeah, if you look up people that have won 2 Masters, Scottie Scheffler is actually the 17th golfer to ever do it. But I mean, he's in an elite name hold by being the fourth youngest golfer to win multiple green jackets behind Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, two of the greatest to ever do it, arguably the two greatest to ever do it. But yeah, Scottie Scheffler today was just pure dominance. It kind of seemed like Max Homa, Morikawa were right by him going into round four, but I mean, Scheffler went on a run of 5 birdies and 8 holes on the back nine, and once he sank that putt, I think it was on number 16. It was over for the rest of the tournament. But I will say a golfer that really surprised me today, and in this tournament, was actually Tommy Fleetwood. Tommy Fleetwood was not even under par. He was actually only 1 under, and he was creeping around that 12th place. And today he shot a 69 to move up to tie third with Max Homa and Colin Morikawa. So, I mean, DeChambeau choked that lead, I will say.
Yeah.
If he kept playing a little bit better, didn't get a 77 in round two, we would have been fine. But, yeah, Scottie Scheffler. And actually a funny story about Scottie Scheffler, his wife is actually about to go into labor. So
Yeah.
There you go.
his
He even
son gets
said,
to see
he
him
even
in a
said
green
he was-
jacket when he comes out of the womb. So
Yeah, he even said that he possibly would have quit if
Yeah.
before round four if
I
his wife went
I'm
into
gonna be
labor.
honest. I'm not the biggest Scottie Scheffler fan. So when he was winning by so much, I was like, I hope his wife has the baby and he has to leave. But hey, he's the champion, and he's probably with his wife right now, about to have his second kid. So congratulations to
His
him.
first kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was his second. My bad.
You're good. You're good.
Well, it's Scheffler with 2 dubs in one day. Getting the baby and then also getting the green jacket and getting what did you say was the amount that he got before we hopped on? Was it like 3.8 mil or whatever it was?
Yeah,
3.6.
3.6 mil.
3.6 mil. So congratulations to Scottie Scheffler. Very entertaining Masters overall. I followed basically the entire round four up until it was like in hand, hole 16, and then watched him put on the green jacket from John Rahm. But one last tidbit that I noticed. Because I've only been golfing a couple of times that like I can count on one hand how many times I've actually gone 18 holes and went fully golfing. But one thing I did notice is, the difference between the top guy and, a guy like Bryson DeChambeau, who finished 2 under par, is putting is paramount. Putting is paramount. I mean, I can't count on 2 hands how many times I saw Max Homa or Colin Morikawa just completely miss a putt that was like, 10 or 15, not anything easy, obviously, especially putting on those fast greens. But, I mean, it was just every time they'd miss it left or right, or Scottie Scheffler just hit in the hole. But absolute masterpiece by Scottie Scheffler. And that's going to do it for MMVP. And now we're going to go to Reese with top 10. Reese, who are we going to be ranking and what's going to be their rank today in top 10?
Who's first, who's last, and who's in between? This is top 10. We're going to be ranking NBA teams, playoff teams. So there's 20 of them. So we're going to be ranking 10 of these 20 teams, see who is the best. And I'm going to get started with my number 10. And my number 10.
So, wait, can I just chip in real quick? I'm sorry. You're on a roll. But the basis of this, just so y'all know, most dangerous teams going into the NBA playoffs. Okay, who you think will actually make noise? Okay, so yeah, most dangerous.
All right. My number 10 is the Pacers. Indiana Pacers have had a good season so far. 47-35, and they are the 6th seed in the East. So I have the Pacers at 10. And then at 9, I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic. Play the song. Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic.
Nah.
Don't ever
the
play the
Magic,
song ever again.
Paulo Banchero, very good season so far. The Magic, I think this is the first time in a while that they've made the playoffs, so good for them. They are the 5 seed in the East, so should be fun to watch them. So the Magic, yes, they are at 9. And the 8 is the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns, 49
Sure,
and
go
30.
Suns.
49 and 33. Taylor's going to Arizona State, so he's got to go for the Suns.
KD
But
is my daddy. Slim
but
Reaper.
KD and Devin Booker,
they're gonna cook up something. Honestly, we saw a few years ago they almost won a finals,
The
but
Black Sniper.
but then
Easy money sniper.
then
Giannis Antetokounmpo, ruined their season in the finals. So I see the Suns possibly going a little far. So that was 8, and then the number 7 is the Dallas Mavericks. They just make the playoffs because they're like, oh yeah, we made the playoffs, hooray! Then they lose first round.
Bro.
They literally played the Clippers last year too. That's the funny thing. They played the Clippers last year, so they're playing them again this year, and the Mavericks are going to get destroyed.
Dillard will
They're
not be very happy.
Yeah, Dillard's gonna be sad.
oh well, Dillard Willard.
What? Bro, we're tired, guys. We're filming. We're recording this at 9 p.m. By the way, but
So that's number 7, and number 6 is gonna have to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, what a season.
Cleveland!
Donovan Mitchell, have my kids.
what?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is insane. I think the Cavs have a legitimate shot to possibly make the finals if they can get past the Celtics. The Celtics are they're just too good. Like 64-18. So,
Jay Breezy, Jalen Brown.
Max, who do you go for? The Pelicans?
Yeah.
Or are they the play-in? Oh,
Yeah. Who do you go for? The Warriors? Barely
Yeah,
made the
we-
play-in?
Playing?
All right,
Playing?
continue your ranking, buddy. Continue your ranking.
All right. Cavaliers are number 6. Number 5 is the Los Angeles Clippers.
I thought you were about to say the Lakers, bro.
yeah.
No, why would I say the Lakers? I don't like LeBron.
Because
He's not my
you
sunshine.
said Nikola Jokic was the #1 best player of all time. So
He's not my sunshine. So yeah. So
Nikola Jokic is.
the Clippers are
bro, I still remember that moment we were doing top.
Yeah,
10
That might be a
Clippers.
top 10 Tigers fan clip.
And then Reese #10 says Nikola Jokic. Like you question it too. You're like Nikola Jokic. I torched you, bro.
Anyway, Munt, yeah, anyway. That's Max's get.
Then he left the call and didn't do the rest of the.
I know. Yeah.
And then the Clippers, the Clippers are 5, Clippers, I mean, who knows? If they can stay healthy and consistent throughout the playoffs, there's a chance they could make a run in the NBA playoffs. And then your number 4 is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is my dad. Anthony Edwards, is gonna posterize millions of people in the playoffs. He can just have my kids too. But Anthony Edwards, Timberwolves, gotta love him. 56-26 for the year. I mean, what a turnaround! Them and the Thunder have had heck of a turnaround. So yeah, I mean, just been amazing for them. So the Timberwolves are 4. Number 3, I'm gonna have to put the Denver Nuggets.
Number 3.
Okay.
Yeah, because Nikola Jokic is my sunshine.
Okay. No, I was thinking higher for you, but okay.
No.
All
In
right.
front of them, though, is the Thunder. So,
Okay.
because, I mean, you got to put the Thunder up there. The Thunder, their team
Wait,
this
Max,
year.
how did you pronounce Bryson DeChambeau?
DeChambeau.
Deschambeau.
Oh, I thought it was DeChambeau.
Bruh.
Hey, that's why I sold the Masters. That's why I sold it. All right, who's won? Oh wait, the Celtics.
Nah, for real?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah, I'm gonna put the Pistons at number 1.
All right, buddy. All right, so that's Reese's top 10 most dangerous teams going.
If you look at the records backwards, though, the Pistons have a better record. If you flip it, they'll be 68-14. So
Yeah, but you know what's funny is the Pistons suck, so they can't be
yeah.
#1. They're not even in the playoffs. So
Somehow they will be. I'm gonna go protest.
All right, my top 10 most dangerous
Wembanyama.
teams going into the NBA playoffs. Number 10 is going to be the New York Knicks. You know, New York, like I said, most dangerous teams. I just don't know. I watched them go to overtime against the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls have not been good really all year. I mean, they made the play-in, but as a losing record. So basically, just because the East wasn't good enough, they made the play-in. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see how they do. I mean, they get the 76ers or the Heat, which are both very difficult matchups, especially in the playoffs, to be your first matchup. But yeah, Jalen Brunson is very good. He reminds me of an older Mark Sears. But we'll see. We'll see how the Knicks do. First time in the playoffs in how long? In
They
forever.
made it last year, Cuh.
Well, first time being good in the playoffs. How about that? First time not exiting the first round, although I don't know. Anyways, number nine.
Spike Lee says otherwise.
Number 9 is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks.
9!
I'm going to take the Bucks
Bro,
any
at
day over the
9?
Knicks. You got
God.
number 9 is the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, let me explain. Damian Lillard and Giannis are very good. They've been good all year, but going up against the Pacers is a tough first round matchup. And I mean, I think they'll win. I think they will make it to the second round, but I don't know how much farther they're going to make it than that because next round they get either the Heat, the 76ers, or the Knicks. And I mean, outside of Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo, I mean, who do you got? You got Brook Lopez, who's obviously aging. We can see it on the court. You got,
Bang!
you got a bunch of
Chris Middleton,
randoms.
Cuh.
Is
You got a
this
bunch
the dagger?
Yeah, Chris Middleton, who's also aging as well. So give me the old Milwaukee
This is not
Bucks at number
fat.
9.
Like
Number
Zion.
8, number 8, I got Phoenix Suns. The Suns with KD, D-Book, and Bradley Beal, the big three.
Go Suns. Activate the Valley, baby.
They have been
Blow
catching
up the
fire
Valley.
recently. They've won 3. They've won 7 of their last 10. I do feel good about the Suns. They do have a tough first round matchup against the T-Wolves. The Timberwolves have been playing some pretty good basketball. Not really as of late. They've only won 6 of their last 10. They also won their last game of the season today. But I will take the Suns at number 8. They actually lost to the Suns today. The Timberwolves did. So that'll be an interesting series. Number 7, I got the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, stuff's been working recently. They have lost their last 2, but they've also won 7 of their last 10. That means they won 7 of their previous 8 before this last 2-game stretch where they've lost both of their games. Whenever I watch Luka and Kyrie on the floor at the same time, I mean, I almost combust. I mean, like it's actually kind of crazy. Their synergy is really working out right now, and they're going up against the Clippers, which will also be a great matchup. Number 6, I'm going to go with Taylor's team Huddle as one of the most dangerous teams entering the NBA playoffs. Not that they'll sneak up on anybody by any means, but they're much better than their seeding says. The Philadelphia 76ers are my number 6 most dangerous team going into the NBA playoffs. I think they will not dominate the Heat, but I don't think it will be close. I think the 76ers will win that game. Then they'll beat the New York Knicks to make it to the third round. And then who knows? I mean, they'll be going up against most likely the Milwaukee Bucks. And, we'll see how that goes. In an East that has been very weak this year, you look back earlier in the season when Embiid wasn't hurt, who are the top 2 teams? I'll say it again. Celtics and 76ers. And they were both top
the
2.
Celtics 76ers.
Yeah, by a long shot. They were top 2 in the East by a long shot. But then the 76ers lost the best big man, or one of the best big men in the league. So give me the 76ers at 6. Number 5, I got the T-Wolves. Anthony Edwards has just been playing out of his mind this year. Cat has also been doing pretty good. The Timberwolves, they also got experience. They got a good mix of experience and young players on their team. And so I think I like them going into the playoffs. They got Rudy Gobert as well, another older piece that can help them with experience in the playoffs. But give me the Timberwolves at 5. Number 4, I got the LA Clippers. The Clippers have been They're another big three team: Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and James Harden. The difference in this year's NBA playoffs and the last couple of years is the teams with like big threes, like the Clippers and like the Phoenix Suns, and like the Mavericks, big two, are actually working. They've actually been doing pretty good this year. And so I like the Clippers going into this one. Obviously, a lot of playoff experience on their team. And so I think that they can definitely make some noise. I think they'll beat the Mavericks, and then they'll have a good matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder or whoever they beat, which would be, most likely the Lakers. But number 3, I got the OKC Thunder. I got them at third because going into the playoffs, between them and the Denver Nuggets, I do trust the Nuggets more. Obviously, because they have more experience in the playoffs. Last year, they won it, the entire thing. And the OKC Thunder, none of those players have ever been to an NBA playoff. So at least last year they made it to the play-in, but that doesn't really count. And so the OKC Thunder, give me them at 3, and then obviously number 2, I got the Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, has been playing good all season. When it gets to the NBA playoff, obviously he turns it up. It's still just a job to him, but he's going to try and get the job done, and I think he will. I think they'll make it all the way to the NBA Finals, and I think they'll play the number 1 team in all of NBA basketball, the Boston Celtics. We talked about it going way back to some of our first episodes. We discussed their trades this offseason, getting Drew Holiday, signing, Jaylen Brown to that big contract, getting Kristaps Porzingis. We literally covered that, day to day, and we literally said that we think this might be an NBA super team. This might be the best team going into the season, and we were right. And so I think the Boston Celtics will go all the way. I think them versus the Nuggets would be an incredible NBA Finals. And that game obviously would be a toss-up. Depends on who's injured by that point and which team is playing the best. But, if I'm a bettor right now, I'd put my money down on Boston Celtics going all the way. So give me the Celtics at 1. And now, Taylor, who is in your top 10 most dangerous teams going to the NBA playoffs?
And number 10, I'm going to have to go with yeah, that team. Mac's about to move there, probably going to become a Magic fan. They just got a really good – they're like the Thunder, but a little bit worse with a really young core. Paolo Banchero, of course, the number 1 overall pick. Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., a bunch of young studs out there. Great role players that feed into those stars, such as Banchero. So give me the Orlando Magic at 10. At number 9, I'm going to have to go with the Pacers. Same exact record as the Magic. I just like the Pacers a little bit more. Okay, I've moved on from that team, Reese.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The Pacers, I just like Tyrese Halliburton a little bit more than Paolo Banchero. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a better player. I think he'll lead them in one of his first, big playoff series that he has coming up against the Knicks. Next, I'm going to stay in the Eastern Conference. One win above that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just like Reese said, Donovan Mitchell is an absolute stud, scoring machine with 26 points a game. Darius Garland gets them assists. I actually watched a Cavaliers game the other day, and I was just so impressed with the chemistry they have. Karis LeVert coming off the bench is an absolute demon, absolute bucket off the bench for them. So Cleveland Cavaliers, one of my favorite teams, going to make a deep run. Then I'm going to move over to the Western Conference at number 7. Got the Phoenix Suns at 49-33. I'm a little bit biased because I'm about to move out to Phoenix. Got to become a Suns fan or else I'll get killed. So, Devin Booker, GOAT. Bradley Beal, he's all right. Kevin Durant, easy money sniper. Of course he's going to be good. Used to be on my Warriors. Next at 6, I'm going to go with another Western Conference team. I'm going to go with the Clippers. I like the Clippers better than the Magic. I just think the Clippers have more depth after that big three, of Kawhi, Paul George, and James Harden. Terrence Mann, a great young guard. Russell Westbrook and Norman Powell coming off the bench give some experience. Russell Westbrook with a lot of playoff experience. And Zubac at center. Super tall, lanky guy, has a presence inside. I just really like that Clippers team more than the Magic team. Or Mavericks team, excuse me. I'm going to move back over to the Eastern Conference for my number 5. I'm going to go with the Knicks. Yeah, actually, I'm going to go with the Bucks. Like Max said, Damian Lillard and Giannis are about it. The Bucks have been struggling recently after firing their coach and hiring Doc Rivers. It's been kind of a struggle, losing 2 in a row right now on that streak. I just don't believe in the Bucks as much, but I still think that they can make a deep run if they get the right pieces. At number 4, I'm going to go with the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves are a very, very good team. Anthony Edwards, of course, their leading scorer out there. And a guy that's not talked about that much is Naz Reid. Naz Reid has been balling out for the Timberwolves lately. I watched his game against the Cavaliers, and he put up, I think it was like 40 against the Cavaliers. With Cat out, he stepped up, but with Cat, coming back, he's getting less minutes. Great asset off the bench for them, though. Can shoot the 3 from anywhere. Got to guard him. At what number I'm at? 3?
Yeah.
At 3, I'm going to go with the Nuggets. The Nuggets, kind of tied the OKC Thunder for the best record in the West, but the Thunder got that 1 seed. The Nuggets, of course, reigning champions, kept about the same team except for the bench. Starting lineup: Jamal Murray, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic. It works. They got shooting in Jamal Murray. They got everything in Nikola Jokic. They got high flying, great perimeter defense from Aaron Gordon. This Nuggets team has it all. Got to watch out for them to repeat. At number 2, I feel like you just got to put OKC 2. I think there's a clear number 1 here from all of us. OKC, like Reese and Max said, great young core. SGA, one of the best players in basketball right now. Going to be a star for a while. Josh Giddey, we're not going to talk about him. Chet
The
Holmgren from Gonzaga, being injured last year after getting bodied by LeBron James. Coming back this year. But I will say also, with a lot of experience off the bench, Gordon Hayward, one of those pieces off the bench, has playoff experience. And a great young player in Isaiah Joe. I mean, in 2K, Isaiah Joe is one of my favorite players for absolutely no reason because he's a great bronze. So watch out for the Thunder. And then at my number 1, Boston Celtics. Personally, probably my favorite basketball team just because of Jason Tatum. I'm a huge Jason Tatum fan. I can't watch a lot of the Celtics games, though, because I don't have NBA League Pass. But Drew Holiday, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard coming off the bench, Oregon alum, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I mean, this lineup just has it all. Al Horford coming off the bench with some experience. Xavier Tillman with some experience with the Grizzlies. This team, they can shoot the absolute lights out. I don't even want to know how many threes they're averaging a game, but we know it's a lot. So give me the Celtics at my 1. And that's going to do it for my NBA top 10.
All right, good top 10s all around. Great segment, Reese. And now we're going to move into our last segment before we get into the prize picks and we get our special guest picker for today in this call. But Taylor, go ahead and take it away with some smells in here. Taylor's trash can. Go ahead and take the trash out real quick.
Go ahead and roll that intro.
That's the new intro right there.
Straight from the garbage disposal, this is Taylor's Trash Can.
So the biggest tournament in golf was this weekend as viewers all around the world watched Scottie Scheffler put on that green jacket for the second time at 27 years old. But as we talked about a little bit earlier, talking good on the Masters performances that we saw, such as Tommy Fleetwood, Scottie Scheffler, the guy that got second. I don't even want to try to pronounce his name. Oyberg or something.
It's like,
And then
yes.
Bryson DeChambeau surprising us in that first round. But not a trash can moment for Scottie Scheffler or any of those guys. Great for him, great for his family. And Scottie Scheffler with a dominant performance that isn't seen in every Masters. But let me tell you the opening odds for the Masters and how a guy that was at the top of these odds and tied for second last year had the worst Masters week of his life and finished 4 strokes higher than his previous worst. This guy is Brooks Koepka. and his odds were the third best at plus 1,110, which for golf is pretty good odds. Under the champion Scottie Scheffler, who was the favorite, and Rory McIlroy. The hype around Brooks was real after the finish last year coming in second, and he was actually leading most of the Masters last year, so people thought he was going to repeat the dominance. But this season, he's shown a lot of dominance in the Live Golf League, owned by Saudi Arabia, so he had to perform well, but he didn't. He opened up the 4 rounds with a +1 score of 73, which is not terrible, but still not good. Then his next 3 rounds went 1 over, 4 over, and 3 over, finishing at a score of 9 over, coming in tied in 45th in the tradition unlike any other. Bettors all over the world were disappointed. I was disappointed because I'm a huge Brooks Koepka fan, and I'm sure Brooks isn't happy with this performance in the 24 Masters. Thoughts on this? And are there any more disappointing performances that y'all saw this weekend?
There are loads of disappointing performances. I think this is a good one you picked out. I saw. I don't know if y'all follow this YouTube channel, but it's Sunday Conversation with Caleb Presley. It's kind of like a funny YouTube sketch thing where they interview celebrities who have something big going on in the week. And Brooks Koepka was on this week. And this is a interview show that's interviewed like Drake, interviewed LeBron, interviewed big
Drake?
big stars, big celebrities. Yeah, Drake.
Helicopter?
So, but anyway, they interviewed him, and it
long.
was filmed the day before the Masters, and he was talking about, I didn't watch the full thing. I saw some clips, but he was talking about, going in, with a clear mind or whatever. Wasn't saying too much, but it was just crazy to see how I didn't really see him at all. Because, if you watch the Masters, if you watch the ESPN coverage and the main coverage, they only show the players who are actually in the running and are doing good. I didn't see Brooks Koepka at all. I saw John Rahm a little bit round
Yeah,
one.
John Rahm was kind of in it at the beginning, and he kind of lost it.
Yeah, he just fell off the
He
face of the earth.
munted.
It's so hard to repeat Masters. I think
Yeah,
only
no.
4 people have done it,
Yeah, no.
which is
Absolutely
Nicklaus,
insane feat.
Palmer,
But
and Woods.
yeah, but still finished 9 over. Tiger Woods, nobody expected to do great. At this point, he's just doing it for fun. It was kind of cool seeing the amount of crowd whenever, because he did have a pretty decent round one, finished 1 over. But to see the people cheering for him, he's getting old. But yeah, he finished dead last basically. Besides people who didn't make the cut. But nobody was expecting that from him. Shout out the GOAT. But Hideki Matsuyama is also a guy that really disappointed me because I was seeing a lot of people say that they were interested
Yeah,
to
he
see
won
how
it a
he
few
was.
years ago.
Yeah, you won it. I think it was 2021. But he also had a good showing at the Players Championship. I think he finished either third or fourth or something like that. But I saw a lot of people saying Matsuyama because his betting odds were, I mean, they were decent, but they weren't super high. So he was actually a guy that a lot of people put their bets on and tied for 38th with 7 over. Yeah, wasn't a great showing for him. It was really those top couple of guys really separated themselves: Morikawa, Homa, Fleetwood, Auberg, and Scheffler. And then after that, I mean, obviously DeChambeau is that how you say it? DeChambeau, was doing good and then kind of fell a little bit. But really some disappointing performances. Brooks Koepka's a good call out because a lot of people were hearing about him. He'd been doing good recently, and then just didn't perform well. And I think a lot of that for these guys goes to, I mean, the Masters, that course in Augusta, Georgia is just a different animal. I mean, it's different than any other course. The putting greens are said to, at least when I talked to my manager and I talked to, a couple of people about it, the putting greens are a little bit faster there. And then the wind conditions also weren't great at times. You could see sand gusting up in the wind. But, Scottie Scheffler once again won it. But, there were some different disappointing performances. I mean, Rory McIlroy, I mean, didn't have a bad showing, but still tied for 22nd at 4 over. So, I mean, it wasn't great. So, yeah, I agree with this take. Reese, what do you got?
I'd say
probably Dustin Johnson had a bad
Yeah, that's who I was about to say too.
bad showing.
That's always
Dustin Johnson, won it
Alabama. Yeah.
won it a few years ago, and I mean he's getting up there to where he just can't even
Wait, where did
play
he
right.
finish?
What?
Where did he finish at?
Bro, have you seen Dustin
Oh, he
Johnson's
didn't make the
wife?
cut.
Yeah, he didn't make the cut.
Oh my
Shout out
god.
Dustin Johnson's wife if you need
Oh.
a babysitter or something.
Yeah.
Another guy, a big name that didn't perform well was Jordan Spieth. Didn't even make the cut either.
Yeah, I was about to say
There
because
was
I was
one hole
looking.
he got like a 9,
Phil
like a
Mickelson.
quad
Phil
bogey.
Mickelson didn't perform either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Phil
Phil
Mickelson's
Mickelson's
also.
like 80 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah. But okay, so good call out, Reese. Also, Wyndham Clark, another guy. Didn't he
I
just
remember seeing him on like 15. He hit the ball like too short and it hit the little hill and it
Yeah.
rolled in the
Victor
water.
Hovland as well, another guy that
just
the past
yeah
2 years has actually finished in the top 5 in the Masters.
yeah
Especially
so
last year, he was tied for the lead for a little bit. He didn't perform well.
yeah, and then Justin Thomas as well didn't do great, but yeah, no, some disappointing performances for sure.
Well, that's going to do it for Taylor's Trash Can. We'll throw those guys out that didn't perform well. Shout out Scottie Scheffler. Shout out Masters. Can't wait for it again next year. Let's move to everyone's least favorite segment.
Okay, buddy.
Mutt picks.
Prize picks
Wobble
is
baby,
coming
wobble
up.
baby, wobble baby.
Wobble, wobble. Wobble,
Yep.
wobble, wobble,
We're gonna
wobble,
we're gonna
wobble,
get Charlie McGowan, our special guest picker of the day, one of our colleagues from AHS Game Day. He will be coming on in just a little bit.
Not sponsored by the app Prize Picks, it's time for Max's Prize Picks.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast, and we got our very special guest on the show today. Recently had some of his first commentary experiences on some soccer broadcasts for AHS Mass Media. If you haven't been keeping up, Auburn High Soccer, men's and women's, just clinched the area, so they will be hosting in the playoffs. And he'll probably be commentating that as well on the AHS Mass Media YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Charlie McGowan. Charlie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right, that's good. That's good. That's good to hear. And so now we're going to go and get into prize picks. Let me go ahead and say what our special guest picker standings are so far. So, Charlie, this is what you're going up against. Our number one guest picker is still Patrick Bingham, who went 5-1. And then tied for second is Caden Harvey and Isaac Shoemaker, our last guest picker from way back when, 4-2. Both of them went 4-2. And then tied for third is Grayson Stokes and Aiden Treadwell at 2-4. And then dead last by himself is Connor Davis, 1-4-1. That time that we had the soccer game, and it ended up being a tie. But now our standings between the three co-hosts, me, Taylor, and Reese. Taylor is still in the lead, and actually not much has changed because once again, for the second straight time, we all tied. We all went 4-2 on the prize picks. So Taylor all time is 76 and 55-1. And then me and Reese are tied for second, I guess you'd say, at 73 and 58-1. So
What's up, brother?
Taylor separating himself a little bit, but me and Reese behind by 3 games. And now we're going to go ahead and get started with some college softball. On the entire on the prize picks list today, we got college softball, college baseball, and then we will actually be picking all 4 of the play-in games for the NBA playoffs on Tuesday and Wednesday. But we're going to get started off with some college softball right now. Number 6 LSU, the Tigers are 33-8 and 10-8 in the SEC play. They're going on the road to face the number 4 Tennessee Volunteers, who are 32-7 and 12-3 in SEC play. The LSU Tigers coming off that series loss to the Auburn Tigers, actually, which I'm very proud about. Meanwhile, Tennessee has just been keeping it steady and has been good all year, although do have a loss to Auburn as well. Going into that game against Auburn, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they were undefeated in SEC play, and then they lost to Auburn, and then they lost recently as well. Who do y'all got? Well, I'm going to say my pick first. This is a good matchup. This is a good series. The first game will be on Friday at 5 p.m. on SEC Network, and then obviously they'll have games Saturday and Sunday. So the way we'll do this for baseball and softball is we'll pick who who will win, and do we think they'll win in 2 games or 3? I think that Tennessee has got this one. Knoxville does pack out their stadium for softball because they've always been good. They've been good the last couple of years consistently, and I think they'll pack the stadium. I think they'll have some good pitching outings. I don't think LSU will be able to score that much. I mean, they weren't able to score more than 2 runs all weekend against the Auburn Tigers, and so against Tennessee, I mean, that's a whole nother animal. And so give me the Volunteers to win. I think they'll win in 2. Or no, you know what? Give me the Volunteers to sweep. I think the Volunteers will win all 3 games. LSU has been deemed fraudulent by a lot of people. All 8 of their losses are coming in the SEC. They kind of played a weak non-conference. And so besides their 1 win against Texas, who's number 1 right now, but other than that, pretty weak non-conference. So give me Tennessee to sweep the LSU Tigers next weekend. And now, Charlie, who do you got for your first pick of the day?
LSU coming off a tough weekend. I think I'll take Tennessee in 2.
There you go, straight up, straight to the point. Yeah. Taylor, who you got?
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea about anything about softball.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just like the Rocky Top song, so I'll go Tennessee in 3.
All right, Reese.
What's up, brother?
Who's your pick? Who's your pick, brother?
Tennessee in 2, brother.
All righty. Well, we all picked Tennessee over here. I think Tennessee, yeah, that's a pretty good pick. And now we're going to move to a college baseball game that also involves the Volunteers, and it's the number 4 Tennessee Volunteers in college baseball as well. They're 30-6 and 10-5 in SEC play. They're going on the road to face the number 8 Kentucky Wildcats, who are 30-5 and 13-1 SEC play, and just came off a sweep against the Auburn Tigers this weekend on the road. And that game, the first game, will be on Friday at 5:30 p.m. on SEC Network Plus. We'll go from Friday to Saturday. This is a good series. I think that both of these teams, I think they're the top 2 right now in the SEC East standings for SEC baseball, with Kentucky being at number 1 and then Tennessee being at number 2. Give me Kentucky at home here. I think Kentucky, coming off that sweep against Auburn. I mean, obviously Auburn hasn't been doing great recently, and Kentucky took advantage of it and really wasn't close. I can't lie. I mean, the game on Saturday, it's kind of close for a little bit, but Kentucky really just dominating the entire weekend. And so give me Kentucky to win this one. I don't think they sweep. I think they win it in 2. Win it 2-1. Charlie, who you got?
This is a great matchup, first of all, but Tennessee, they have firepower on offense, and Kentucky's pitching's a little bit fraudulent in my opinion. I think Rocky Top stuns people and gets 2 in Lexington.
Taylor?
I'm gonna be honest, bro. I haven't even heard of Bellarmine before, so I'm gonna have to go with Tennessee.
Reese?
What's up, brother?
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Tennessee.
Game?
Stop interrupting me, brother.
Oh shoot, I picked the wrong game.
Wait, what?
I picked Bellarmine versus Tennessee instead.
Okay, brother.
I'm gonna go with Kentucky. Big Blue Nation, baby.
There you go.
All right.
BBN.
Special teams make special plays with special players. Tennessee in 3.
In 3.
3 is crazy, but okay, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that first game, 5:30 p.m. on SEC Network Plus on Friday, and then
what was that, Taylor?
And then the third game is going to be NBA. We're going to be covering all 4 NBA playing games. We're going to pick them right now, and the first one is going to be the 9th place versus 10th place matchup between the Atlanta Hawks, who are 36-46 overall, and 15-26 when playing away. They're going on the road to face the Chicago Bulls, the 9th seed, who are 39-43 overall and 20-21 when playing at home. Current betting odds have the Bulls favored in this matchup, -3.5. And then also, ESPN predicts them to win as well. I think this will be a fun game. I don't think either of these teams will make it far in terms of the entire NBA playoff landscape, but some key injuries to look at going into this game. Jalen Johnson will not play. He will not be in this game. He's out till May 2nd, so unless they do make it to basically the finals, he's not going to be in there. And then also out is Onyeka Okongwu, their power forward, and then Clint Capella is also questionable for this game. He's expected to return April 17th, the day of the game, but we'll see. That'll be day to day, something to watch for. The Chicago Bulls, Ayo Dosunmu and Andre Drummond are both questionable for the game. And then obviously Lonzo Ball, he's been out all year. He's going to be out this game, obviously, as well. But looking back on some of these games, the Hawks have lost 5 in a row, including a game against the Timberwolves, recently. And then, the Bulls have won 3 of their last 5. Give me Chicago at home. Injuries plus, whoever's hot recently. The Hawks have just not been it this year. They kind of, they're only in really because everybody behind them has done even worse. So give me the Chicago Bulls to win this game. I'm going to say 121 to 113.
Are we giving scores also?
Yeah.
Okay. I also like Chicago in this one. I like Trae Young, but I don't think the Hawks are very good on the road. So I'm going to go Bulls 115, 107.
I'm going to pick the Hawks because they've played in the play-in 3 years in a row, and they've won every single year. So they're not going to break it this time. DeJounte Murray and Trae Young are probably one of the best guard duos. So give me them.
All right. Reese?
All right, score? Sorry.
Yeah.
113 to 87. Blowout.
Dang. Jeez. On the road is crazy, but
Yeah. The Bulls suck.
We'll see.
Michael
Reese,
Jordan
who you got?
overrated.
What's up, brother?
Who you got, bro?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the Hawks. Hawks are gonna win 110 to 90.
All right. Well, we got 2 blowouts and then 2 people picking the right team, the Bulls. But we're going to move on to the next one, and it's going to be the Warriors at the Kings. This is the 9th seed versus 10th seed matchup in the West. Both these teams have the same record, 46 and 36. The Warriors are actually better on the road than the Kings are when they're at home. The Warriors are 25 and 16 on the road. Meanwhile, the Kings are 24 and 17 when playing at home. This game is on Tuesday, April 16th at 9 p.m. on TNT. Currently, the betting odds actually favor the Warriors. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. The Warriors -1.5 coming into this game. Some injuries to watch. Curry is actually listed as questionable, and there's no way he doesn't play in this game. Absolutely no way. But Draymond Green is also listed as questionable. They're all expected to return this day, but they'll be, they'll be to watch. You'll need to watch them. But a big injury who's for sure out is Malik Monk. He is not going to be playing for the Kings. He's out till the 28th. Malik Monk. Malik Monk is out until April 28th. And so, that is a big loss, especially against a Warriors team that likes to fill up the score sheet. And so, looking back on these teams' recent games, the Warriors have won 3 of their last 5, did lose to the Pelicans recently, but the Kings they've only won 1 of their last 5, so they're not playing really good basketball at this time of the season. For all that being said, I'm going to go with the Warriors to win this one. I think the Warriors win on the road. Last year, I remember that being a great game, actually, when the Kings and the Warriors played each other. You had the Domantas Sabonis and Draymond Green beef, the kick in transition. But I think the Warriors go on the road. They win this one. Also, that Malik Monk injury is huge because De'Aaron Fox, he has Keegan Murray and Sabonis around him, but really not much else. So give me the Warriors to win this game. I'm going to say it's a high-scoring one. I'm going to say 127 to 120.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go with the Warriors. It's just hard to bet against Curry. Give me the Warriors 125 to 121.
I think this will be a really good game like we saw last year with the series between these two teams. I mean, they lit the beam a few times. Warriors came back and won that series in 6 or 7. I can't remember. But big rivalry. The Warriors don't have to travel very far to get to Sacramento. But I'm going to have to go with the Warriors. I love Steph Curry. He's my favorite player of all time. I've been a Steph Curry stan forever. And with Steph Curry, it's not just Steph Curry. I mean, this team has depth. They have Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, Chris Paul coming off the bench, some playoff experience. The cum bucket, Jonathan Kuminga also coming off the bench. So give me the Warriors. I think De'Aaron Fox is going to put up 40, but the Warriors are going to win, and Sacramento is not going to light anything this time.
Reese, who you got?
What's up, brother? I got the Warriors. Favorite team. Warriors win. They're gonna win 130 to 120.
All right. Well, that game once again is going to be on Tuesday, April 16th at 9 p.m. on TNT. Be sure not to miss that one. And now we're going to move to the 7th seed versus 8th seed matchups, starting with the East on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on ESPN. The Miami Heat go on the road to face the Philadelphia 76ers. The Heat finished the season at 46-36 overall and 24-17 when playing on the road. Meanwhile, the 76ers finished at 47-35 and 25-16 when playing at home. Coming into this game, betting odds right now stand at -4.5. The Sixers are favored to win this one right now. And then the injury report coming into this one, some injuries to look out for. Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson, and Terry Rozier are all questionable coming into this game. They're expected to return April 17th, the date of this game, but they are questionable, so that'll be something to watch. Meanwhile, for the 76ers, out for them, Joel Embiid is still listed as questionable. And also a thing about this is basically if they were out, because, some teams bench their players for today because it's the last game of the season. For a lot of teams, it really didn't mean much. I think it does put him as questionable. So Joel Embiid listed as questionable, but he will play. DeAnthony Melton will be interesting to see whether or not he plays in this game. He's also questionable. But looking at the last 5 for each of these teams, 76ers, we talked about it during Team Huddle. They have won their last 10 in a row. Meanwhile, the Heat have lost 2 of their last 5, so they've won 3 of their last 5. They're kind of just middle of the road right now. But I'm going to have to go with the 76ers. We talked about it in Taylor's Team Huddle and Top 10. I think that they are probably one of the most dangerous teams, if not the most dangerous team. That's 5 seed or under coming into this tournament easily. I mean, Joel Embiid coming back from that injury is just huge. I think he'll put up insane numbers, not only in this game, but in the rest of the playoffs. So give me the 76ers to win this game big. I'm going to say the 76ers win at 122-86.
Yeah, I think I also like the Sixers. Sounds like they're coming in hot on a 10-game winning streak. And Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey duo is kind of lethal. So, yeah, give me Sixers 118 to 102.
Yeah, I agree. The Sixers. Go back to Team Huddle, and you'll see why.
Mm-hmm. Reese, who you got?
130 to 50.
Shut up, brother.
Jesus.
I gotta make my pick, brother.
130 to 50 is crazy.
I'm gonna take the 76ers, brother. They're gonna win.
What's the score, brother?
140 to let's say 125, brother.
All right, well, that game is on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on ESPN. Be sure not to miss that one. And then our last pick of the day, the 7 versus 8 seed. I'm going to try and be unbiased.
I don't know who Max is going to pick.
I'm going to try and be unbiased.
The
okay?
500-pound take.
All right.
We should pick the O.J. Simpson trial.
All right, so the Lakers.
Oh, yeah, we can run down O.J. Simpson dead as hell.
47-35.
He didn't.
We'll talk about the Jews here in a second. But the Lakers come into this game at 47-35, 19-21 went away. The Pelicans come into this game at 49-33 and 21-19 when playing at home. This game is at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, April 16th on TNT. Coming into this game, the betting odds actually favor the Lakers -2.5. After the Lakers brutalized the Pelicans today. It was hard to watch. I had to turn off the TV and watch the Masters. But the Lakers coming to this game, they got some questionables, but I think they'll all play. Anthony Davis, for some reason, listed as questionable. He dominated all day today and didn't really seem to go out with an injury. But Jared Vanderbilt and Christian Wood are also players. Vanderbilt was out today. It'll be interesting to see if he returns on Tuesday. A lot of people don't think he will,
The
but
gloves
we'll
don't
see.
fit.
Whereas the Pelicans, looking at their last 5, the Pelicans don't have any injuries coming to this game, so that'll be good to see. Bi his first game
Oh my
back.
God, is that OJ's
today.
Bronco going past my house?
The Pelicans have won 4 of their last 6, but they also lost their last game of the season to the Lakers. Meanwhile, the Lakers have won 4 of their last 6 as well. Have won 2 in a row, actually, by the way. And the betting odds actually just updated. Lakers minus 1.5. So somebody saw something. Because I was really looking forward to today, because I thought the Pelicans would be able to seal the deal. We didn't even have to win. We could have lost, and then the Timberwolves, if they beat the Suns, we still would have gotten 6th seed. Wouldn't have to worry about this, but now we're here, and I have to worry about it. So this is what I'll say. The Pelicans, obviously today against the Lakers. The Lakers are just not a good matchup for the Pelicans. Haven't been all season.
They had OJ on their team,
So, but, LeBron, obviously he's 41 and whatever, and he's still playing like a top 5 player. But at the end of the day, I can't go against my Pelicans. I got to go with them. I think Zion, he did have a big off day today. Must have not ate enough going into the game. But, we'll get him back fueled up, get him some New Orleans beignets, and get him nice and ready for the next game.
They're going to be gone.
Yeah, sit on other people. But give me the Pels. Give me the Pels. I really don't have a great reason for it because I don't feel great about this game after watching today against the Lakers. But give me the Pels at home in the blender, and I think we'll win 125-121.
Give me the Lakers just because of Braun.
Yeah.
115 to 100.
It's not a bad pick. So Taylor.
You are my All I'm gonna say is the Pelicans.
Okay, I was about to say school podcast. So, but
Yeah, the Lakers are gonna win. D'Angelo Russell's finna put up 30. LeBron's finna put up a quadruple double. AD's about to tear Zion apart, literally. Just go into his big stomach and yeah. So I got the Lakers winning, easily covering that spread of 1.5. So Lakers win probably 200-5. So
good score pick. All right, Reese, who you got?
I got the Lakers because OJ Simpson is going to reincarnate himself and play for the Lakers, and he's going to drop 100, and it's going to be 2,000-1.
Great picks all around. That game's going to be at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, April 16th on TNT. Be sure y'all check that out. But unless there's any other last question of the day. We'll start doing this because we actually did it last time with Isaac. Last question of the day. Did OJ do it? If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to comment down below. I don't care if it's a school podcast. It's history. We can talk about it.
Yes, he did. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, OJ.
I'm a bet the under. I'm gonna say he didn't do it. Because whatever. But anyways, that's gonna do it for the Tigers Den podcast. Thank you so much, Charlie, for joining us today. We hope y'all enjoyed this. Be sure to continue streaming us on all our platforms.
Guys, I think OJ's in my house.
Spotify, and YouTube. But this is going to do it, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the Tigers Den podcast. New episodes dropping every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Central. Also be sure to check out our other podcast, Play Callers, where we interview a coach from Auburn High School football. Be sure to check out those episodes dropping every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central on all platforms.